I'm just going to be talking about clearance to obstructions. I haven't got a lot of time, so I'm going to be doing it whilst I'm driving to work. So the reason why I want to talk about this is this comes up on driving lessons so much. So I'm talking about the clearance to the parked car on the left when you need to give way to oncoming people, okay? Now, in these situations, there's multiple things that can happen which will make the student go far too close to the parked car, which is called shaving the car. And it is dangerous. We're far too close to it. One of the most common accidents to happen is people knocking off people's mirrors because they're just way too close to cars. So I just want to talk about this from a driving instructor's point of view here. And the very first thing that I want to talk about is it could be speed on approach, okay? It could be not knowing the priority and the law of who's actually got the priority, right? That's the first thing. Is their knowledge okay? Do they know that the oncoming people have officially got priority if there's an obstruction on the side, on their side, okay? Knowledge. Have they got the knowledge? Okay, so we'll check that first. Then, have they got the understanding? Why? Why is the person who is coming got the priority? Do they understand that? We've got an obstruction on our side of the road, their side of the road is lovely and clear. Do they actually understand it? Knowledge and understanding. Then, have we got the skill level for it? Do we actually know how to slow the car down? Do we know how to use the brake pedal? Do we know how to change down into second? Do we know how much space to leave from the parked car physically? Okay, so if you've got the luxury of space, we want to leave probably 2 car lengths of space whilst you're giving way without creeping. Whilst you've stopped, if you've left that lovely 2 car lengths of space and you don't look like you've parked, you're actually away from the curb a little bit, because if you look like you're parked, everybody's just going to overtake you. Okay, you're just going to look like a parked car. If you're too close and you're not in a sort of position away from the curb, people are going to think you're parked and they're going to overtake you. The other reason why you need to be slightly out rather than mimicking the parked car's position is because you need to see down the road as well. You need to see who else is coming. So 2 car lengths away, minimum 1 car length really. 2 car lengths would be better. So you can see down the road, you don't look like you've parked, and then you can get out easily without shaving the car, without being too close to the car. All of those things, first of all, is what I would be looking at first. Knowledge, understanding and skill. Do they have all those things? Okay. The other thing that could be happening is the student is worried about the person behind. Okay. Now in this case, that worry trumps safety, and that's terrible. So the person behind, oh, I don't want to keep them waiting. Oh, they're going to think I should be going. Don't worry about the person behind. That is a 0. We do not want to be worried about the person behind unless they are physically trying to overtake you. That is when the person behind is a problem, okay? We do not want to be trumping our own safety because of a stranger behind that you think wants you to go, okay? So if you are really worried about the person behind and you're dealing with a situation in front of you that you don't know whether you can fit through the gap, you are seriously jeopardizing your safety. You could just go straight into the parked car, scrape the parked car, yeah, hit it, take its mirror off, yeah, or the oncoming person could start beeping you heavily, or you might even hit the oncoming person. Leave the squeezing to the oranges. Do not try and squeeze through gaps. The examiner is not interested in that. He's not asking you to get round that test route really quickly. He wants you to show him the rules of priority. He wants to see your guts to stop the person behind if that's what's going to happen. Some of my students who are coming up to these situations, they will stop because we're working on it, and that's great, and their position's actually good because we're working on it, and they'll be 2 car lengths away. They'll be stuck out a little bit so they don't look like they're parked. They're waiting for the vehicles, and then some time passes, and then we've got a queue of people behind us, and there's more people coming. And then the student starts to worry about hesitation because of the person behind. They're freaking out because of the person behind. Oh, I've been here for too long. Yeah, there's still people coming. Your way is still not clear. So you still can't go. Yeah, do you know what? Sometimes it's rush hour. Sometimes it's going to take ages. Yeah, you need to monitor the traffic's behaviour, because if the traffic ahead of you becomes a smaller car, or they've moved over for you, that could be a time for you to go, absolutely. But if they're not, or they've got bigger cars, you still have to wait. Yeah, this happens a lot. The student will be like, oh, I've been here for too long, totally got to go. No, you don't. You just sit there. Now, on your driving test, if you really can't go, if they haven't moved out of your way and the cars are still big and there really isn't any space, and you've stopped in a beautiful position 2 car lengths away from the parked car, or a car length at a minimum, and you're stuck out and everything's great, how good is this? On your driving test, how good is that? You're not doing your driving test. You're burning away loads of time. This is the best thing ever. You're not actually doing your driving test. You're just sat there waiting. Time is ticking away. It's burning away. Your test is only 38 to 40 minutes. They can't elongate your test because they've got another one to go and get. If you get stuck at temporary traffic lights, if you get stuck in a meeting traffic situation where there's loads of parked cars and you really can't go, you should be so happy about that. You're not doing your driving test. On a driving lesson, it might suck a bit because your driving lesson's flipping expensive and you're stuck there and you really can't go. However, you are practicing, so, you know, I'm making a joke, yeah, like obviously if you can't go, you can't go. But you know what I mean? On a driving test, it's the best thing ever if you can't go. I've sat in the back of tests before where there's been roadworks, and I've seen whole test routes be completely morphed into something else. I know that the test examiner should be taking them a certain way, but the traffic light is taking so long that they have to cut off huge areas of test route. Before they stopped all of the driving tests in race week in Cheltenham, because a million Irish people come over from Ireland just and take over Cheltenham, before they stopped all the driving tests, people would just get stuck in a traffic jam for 38 minutes, hardly do a driving test, and then they'd pass their test and they haven't done anything. They've done a couple of left turns and just been in traffic. They had to stop that immediately. I mean, how dangerous is that? You've done 38 minutes with an examiner, you've not made any mistakes, but you haven't done anything because you've been in a traffic jam. So they had to stop all that. Guys, leave the squeezing to the oranges, okay? If you were hugged, and I mean hugged hard, that is not nice. I'm not talking about a really lovely hug. I'm talking about a bone-crushing hug, okay? That's not nice. Nobody wants to be squeezed, okay? If you're going into a situation at speed and you're driving past cars too quickly and it's a squeezy little gap, nobody wants that. You don't like that because you're like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. You hate it, The oncoming person hates it. They might be driving a 25 to 50,000 pound car. They hate the fact that you've just gone. They hate it. The person who owns the car that's parked hates it. If they were stood there watching you pass the car, they would hate it. If they were sat in their car reading a book or scrolling on Instagram, yeah, because they're just waiting for their mate, they don't want you to be close. If you hit the car, the parked car, the owner of the car is going to hate it. If you hit the car and drive on, that's a criminal record if somebody reports it, because you've done a hit and run. So if you hit the car and then leg it, but then somebody saw you and wrote down your number plate, you're in trouble. Yeah? We don't want to get into these situations, okay? So leave the squeezing to the oranges. No squeezing, guys. The examiner's not interested in that. Not interested in squeezing. I really hope that this video comes across. It is so important, guys. If I lent you, okay, let me say this. If I lent you my car was second-hand, but it was still 18 grand, yeah? If I gave it to you and I said, all right, look, you can have this for the weekend, but if you break it, I'm going to be very upset with you. You'd be like, right, you know, you're not going to want to squeeze through little gaps. Yeah, unless you don't like me. But yeah, just crash it on purpose. Roz has lent me her car. I'm just going to crash it and say that I made a mistake. No, but hopefully you would have the respect, like not to fit through little gaps if you were like, this car doesn't belong to me. I've got to give it back on Monday after the weekend. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there because I'm starting to be stupid. Oh, my camera's moved. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, I hope that it wasn't too annoying when the camera moved. Guys, again, I really hope this has helped you today, and I'll see you on the next video.